The first video on how to use the Merlin Match RS485 digital sequencer. So as you can see, here's the device. First of all, I'm just going to run through the anatomy of the device so you get an idea of what bits do what. So basically on the top here we have a fire line input. So this is if you want to trigger the sequencer from another firing system. So you can connect this up and you can use this device as a standalone sequencer. On the bottom here we have two buttons and a little jack. So the two buttons are for selecting which sequence you want to use, and the left hand button is for selecting which sequence you want to use, and the right hand button is for accepting that and also activating the device, which I will show you in a minute. So the small jack in the bottom, that is for the network connection. So you'll see that the device comes with this handy little adapter, so this gets you up and running nice and quickly because you can just put the wires in from your RS485 adapter and you can get this device up and running very quickly. So on the side you'll see there's a small power jack. So this comes with a device with a lead, so you can plug this into the battery. We're just using a 12 volt lead acid here. So for connecting your igniters, the first two ports on the top and bottom are common ground, and that's on both sides. And then on the left hand side you have channels 1 to 16, and on the right hand side you have channels 17 to 32. So this is where you would wire in your igniters. So what I'll do now is I'll power up the device and just show you how you can select some sequences and how you can just use it as a basic standalone sequencer. So there we go, plug the power in, and what it does first of all, it just goes through a self-check, and it flashes the lights to tell us that this device has actually got a sequence programmed in it. If you had an igniter plugged in on a particular channel, the device would toggle between what is actually supposed to be there and what is actually there. So what I'll show you that now. So I'll unplug the power and I'll get this igniter. So I'll put one wire into the common ground on the side there, and we'll put one wire into channel 1. Okay. So now we've got an igniter in channel 1. So if we power up the device again now, what we'll find is, so it's showing channel 1 and it's toggling between, it knows that the sequence you're wanting to fire has all the channels used, but actually channel 1 is only in channel 1 has an igniter in it. So this is a quick visual check that you have got the igniters wired in and there's no wiring faults. So the device comes with 9 pre-programmed steps. So the first one is 0.5 seconds, then there's 1 second, 1.5 seconds, all the way up to 6 seconds. So you can use these by selecting them using the left hand button. So I'll go through here and you press it, and you can select using the right hand button to select which sequence you want to use. So I've selected sequence 1. So again now it's showing me that I've got an igniter on channel 1. Now if you want to arm the device, the right hand button will arm. So when you've got a green light here, it means any trigger on the fire line impulse will actually start the sequence on the device. So if you want to unarm it, you press the right hand button again. So the red flashing light means it's on standby, and the green light means it's activated and it's ready to fire. Okay, so like I said, you've got 9 pre-programmed sequences. Sequences 10, 11 and 12, these are user definable. So using the IonFire standalone product, you can upload 3 sequences into those user defined programs. So a user defined program, it can have multiple steps. So you could set every single channel to fire individually when you pulse the fire line input, or you could have the whole lot fire in one sequence if you so wish. So you can define as many as you like. So what I'll do now is I'll show you how we'll connect this up, and to start with I'll use the IonFire.Basic software, which is the free software that comes with the device. So what I'll do is I'm using a standard USB to serial cable here. So these are very common, you can get these off eBay for sort of £10 or so. So I'll plug that in my USB port, and then simply I'm using a serial to RS485 adapter. You can get USB leads that go straight from USB to RS485 if you so wish, but I use this little adapter to plug in there. So I plug that in. So we're basically going USB from the computer to a serial, and then we're going to RS485 to wire into the device. So we'll put that there. So what we'll do now is we take the other end of the wire from the device and we'll put it into this little adapter here. One thing to note is that the RS485 network is actually polarity sensitive, so you do need to get the wires the right way around. Don't worry, you won't break anything if you get the wires the wrong way around to begin with. The device just won't respond, but if you swap the wires around, it will work. So we'll plug that into the jack port on the bottom of the device, and now we're ready for the computer to talk to the device. So I'm just going to fire up the IonFire.Basic software. So first of all, we just get a warning about testing the system before you use it. So first of all, it asks us to select our interface. So this is our communications device here. So we are using the Merlin Systems brand of firing system, so we select that first, and we select which COM port that we wish to use. The IonFire software will only show you COM ports that are actually available to be used. So you won't get a huge list of COM ports if they're not actually available. So on this laptop, I only have one COM port available, and that is the only one that's showing me there. So I'll select that and click OK. Okay, so the IonFire Basic software is basically designed for you to do simple channel firing. So there's no sequences here. This is simply you hit channel 1 on the screen and channel 1 on the device will fire. You can either do this for all devices, so if you have multiple devices in, we'll show you how you can select the all tab, and when you hit channel 1 every device will fire channel 1, or you can select individual channels on individual devices to fire. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to tell the system to scan the network. On the right hand side here, you probably can't see it on the video, but on the software, if you've got it running, you'll see on the right hand side you have a lower network address and upper network address. So this is if you've got multiple devices, you can tell the system what network addresses to scan. As I've only got one device here and I know it's address 1, I will set it to address 1 there. So I'm scanning now, and what it's doing is it's found the device, it lists it here, it tells me it's a Merlin Match RS485. The system automatically detects what type of devices you've got available. It tells me that it's not activated, so it's not ready to fire. Its battery status is not applicable because these particular devices don't monitor the battery status, and it gives me the device's serial number here. So if we look here, we'll have we've got two tabs, one that says fire all and one that says module 1, which is the one device we've got here. If it finds multiple devices, you'll have multiple tabs going across the screen. So the fire all tab, you'll see at the top that it says channel template, and the idea behind this is that you may have two Merlin Match RS485 devices that have 32 channels, and you may have a Merlin Fire 3 device that has 100 channels, for example. So if you wanted to fire a channel on all devices, you may only, if you've only got RS485s, you can select the Merlin Match RS485 and it only shows you 32 channels. However, if you do have a mix, or you do just have the Merlin Fire 3 units, you can select Merlin Fire 3 and it will show you all the channels that are available to fire for that device. If you do fire a channel that the particular device hasn't got, it won't cause any problems, it will just ignore it. So if you fire channel 40 and you've got a Merlin Match RS485 plugged in, it knows that that device doesn't have that channel, therefore it won't fire. So this is a quick way of just checking that your devices are working, your network's working. If you need to get the serial numbers for licensing purposes, this is a great piece of software and a great way to do this. And also, if you want to just fire a very simple show and you just want to say, right, I hit channel 1 and channel 1 fires, the Merlin Match, the IonFire.Basic controls the Merlin Match devices very well. So once we're happy that everything's set up correctly, at the bottom of the screen here we have an activate modules button and a deactivate modules button. So we can hit activate, and if you see here now, the device, the ready light has gone green, so that's exactly the same as pressing the activate button on the device. So now the device is ready to fire. If we press deactivate, the device deactivates, and it's now safe again. So that's basically the IonFire.Basic. It does have a few other features. You can manage a particular device here. So if you want to change the device's address, so you buy some more devices, for example, and you want to change them, you can go in here, select the channel you want to, the address you want it to change to, and click change address, and it will do that for you. You can also reboot the device from here if you so wish. I mean, rebooting the device can be useful if you're trying to identify, if you've got lots of the devices, you're trying to identify which one's which. You can go in here, hit the reboot, and you'll see that the device reinitializes itself. And so if you've got multiple devices and you're not sort of sure which one's which, the reboot can be quite useful there. Okay, so that's basically the IonFire.Basic software and the Merlin Match RS485. Thank you for watching.